What an insanely cool set. Both sides having a more traditional, almost kind of boomery or mid-game focused player, and both sides having a bloodthirster. Welcome back to the Age of Empires 4 action, folks. Top team gamer event, 2v2 tournament, and we've got some top names here. Killjadi in the orange on the Rus will mirror the aggression you will see from the other side. Vortex in the blue on the English. These two are the two most aggressive players you will find in the top 50 on Age of Empires 4, by far. To the north, two players that I would say have more of a similar playstyle here. Maybe a little bit more focused on that mid game. Maybe a little bit more greedy occasionally. We've got Dumu in the purple on the HRE. And across from him is none other than the kid, the Dane, Voldemar himself, playing as the Mongols in the yellow. We are in Prairie, by the way. Prairie that I'm absolutely in love with. This map is so much fun in tournament games. We just saw it between Marine Lord, M7, B, and Cat. And I'm hoping we're going to see it again between these four particular fellas. So, Rus and Mongols together is quite an interesting one, actually. Rus-Mongols is kind of funky here. I think Mongols in general kind of gets overplayed in 2v2s with the wrong comp. And I'm wondering if this is going to be one of those type of games. The reason is that, really, when you play Mongols, you're actually playing a support arc. Mongols are typically about building into the Kurotai buff so that you can take a direct fight, right? But when you go with a teammate like the Rus, they're usually leaning into Cav. So instead, I find myself looking at a comp that's probably going to be Cav and Cav, which makes you very predictable. And Dumu and Vortex have good civs for defending against that, right? Dumu has a civ that can bulk up a lot of spearmen, courtesy of the good economy. And then Vortex has a civ that gets very efficient spearmen via the attack speed. In fact, you can even argue that Dumu's spearmen are very efficient due to the movement speed. So yeah, kind of curious how they're going to navigate this. The reason why you kind of have to play double Cav is, like, if your goal is to get towards Kurotai, I just don't think it works here because Killjadi should be looking at Mass Knights, right? If your Rus player is going Mass Knights, Kurotai is kind of worthless because you'll just be running around chasing after him trying to set up, never quick enough, right? We've all had that experience where we're trying to support. Like, maybe it's not in Age of Empires, maybe it's in like an FPS, right? You ever had that experience where you're trying to heal someone and they run away from you and you're like, come back here, right? Or in a MOBA, you're like, I really want to heal this guy, but he won't not slow down. That's how it feels playing Kurotai support Mongols with Cav civs. We will keep Killjadi's perspective up so we can see the Bunty game. 140 so far. Yeah, double... Wait, what? Oh, sorry, we're on the wrong side. I'm going to flip the UI now, so don't get disoriented. We should have done that at the start. There you go. So these guys, left side players over here. These guys, right side players over here. But yeah, 195 bounty, not too bad. It was a free scout opener. It looks like Dumu went for the double scout. This isn't as much about denying bounty as it is about getting sheep. When you get enough sheep on this map, it enables a Burgrave Rush build. And that was actually a quite popular type of build to go for with the HRE on this map. In 1v1s, is you either got a lot of food and went Mass Knights, or you could go Burgrave if you got 20 plus sheep. And Prairie has a lot of sheep. So it is feasible to get your fair share, even up towards 30 with 2 scouts. Overall, most players seem to have gotten a nice slab of it, though. It looks like the big winners were indeed Killjadi and Dumu here. The others, kind of mid on the grab. The bounty. Still stockpiling up. So I imagine Killjadi should break at least 250 here, unless he's very unlucky. Does need to keep moving these scouts on the backside, though. AFKing like this, not ideal. An interesting opening, by the way. Like, we actually have Mongols playing immediately into stables in Dark Age and getting horsemen. I think the idea was to try and maybe pinch a scout, maybe deny one here or there. We have now got Silver Tree coming in, though. Ooh. Is that kind of greedy? Is this map good for Rus? I think Rus are okay on this map. They have a really good timing into Fast Castle to rush relics, right? On top of that, Knights are very powerful in the early game. Knights on Prairie are really good. Like, you know, the feeling in 1v1s for a while was civs like French, Rus were kind of the only playable civs because of the way they constrict the map. And that's why Rus remains very good. And also, their fortified palisables are very reliable compared to other civs, right? They cost the same amount of wood. Admittedly, wood is hard to come by, but if you had to invest it, it would be nice to invest it in a way that you get double the value out of that investment compared to other civs. I'm wondering, is this 2C? C? Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, a little bit surprised by Vortex on that. But I think the thought process is that they know that it's going to be double Cav, so they don't want to contest. They just want to kite, right? They just want to toll, essentially. And I think that's going to be true for both players. Dumu it kind of sucks for him a bit because if the English player is playing 2TC and hunkering down, it means he could get piled. I think from this position, the way that Voldemar and Killjoy win this game is like targeting down Dimmu here. Because denting an English base is much harder, right? The attack speed aura, the double TC fire, the chances you dive into a white tower, it's all ugly. Meanwhile, HRE, if two players go into that base, what are they going to have? An outpost. Congrats. Interesting beginning as well, Dimmu going for archery range here. There shouldn't realistically be any reason to begin archery range. But he has already got the spears as well, right? So I wonder if he would have been better off just spamming spears here. It's almost like he's paranoid that Voldemar's going to make an archer switch behind this. Keep in mind, he will have defender's advantage, and it's very powerful in this type of map because of the distance between the bases. And that was kind of my worry with Killjoy and Voldemar's comp in the first place, right? Is like, it gives them mobility, but what it also means is they are very easily counterable. Even extra marketplace now added by Voldy. His king is a problem, though. Starts to raid in. Decent damage done, but the bigger problem is going to be the unguarded traders. So Voldemar kind of has to get 2 to 3 Keshiks out first before he goes for the trade. Doing trade first is just something that the king can kill. Killjoy in the meantime, farming a bit. He will not come out here with villagers. That's not the whole point. This is just about getting the tier 2 bounty. Dimmu starting to march forward here. This is problematic for Voldy. Oh, wow. What? He didn't go archers. I'm a bit speechless on that one. I mean, in fairness, archers are hard to do with very limited wood, but it feels like it's a necessity here, surely. Because Spearmen are never going to win, right? Like, HRE's economy is better than yours. They've got marching drills as well, so they can more easily micro the fights and pinch you. There's just so many reasons why HRE Spears is better than Mongol Spears here. Damn, what a wild one. King is going to retreat towards the Spearman defense. Should be fine there. Remember, he can heal up the damage done to these guys, right? It's like a very powerful play right now. English just feels really good in team games. As long as you have a teammate that's actually playing the game, right? Like, a lot of English players right now, they hunker down, they don't really come out and hell. Oh, wait, that's what's happening here. Vortex is going to change that, though. Archery range now being added in. We've seen a few games in the tournament so far where English players basically just wall themselves in, and it's a death sentence for their teammate. This could be one of those type of games. Luckily for Dimmu, there's really not enough wood for Vortex to do that. Spin and pinch from the back, though, Dimmu. Kind of running further away from his reinforcing line, right? Which isn't ideal here. Looks like the Knights are getting pinched, though. A bad trade for Killjoy there. But Voldemar at least makes it good with the extra kills. King does also go down in the meantime, so good hits here from Killjoy and Voldy. Dimmu behind this. He's not holding anything back, right? No. No stockpile of resources. It's just a trickle of troops to their death. Yeah, this is why Cavs can feel really good in team games, right? Like, the map is just too big for Dimmu to get away with trickling troops like this. Like, ideally, what would be happening right now is Killjoy would be cutting reinforcements. The only reason he's not is their numbers are high enough that they can just take the main fight. Archer's now on the way north from Vortex, but they're going to take a long time to arrive. Movement speed arrow is going to be activated. Remember, that does zoom your allies as well. Archers are starting to arrive for Voldemar, but I feel like this is quite the lacking trickle, right? The Knights are still going to be nice for Killjoy, by the way, because Vortex is running archers across map like this. So if Killjoy sees it, he can just cut reinforcements, and these are very expensive units for Vortex to lose. There we go. People sharing their hate of English players in team games. Yes. Good. Good. Let's give comparisons in different games. So in Overwatch, like, English players are the equivalent of people who pick Wrecking Ball. And then the whole team begs them to get off Wrecking Ball. Had that experience last night. In MOBAs, it's the person who rolls support, but then tries to contest mid. Right? He says that he's the mid. What other games? What other game strats we got? Oh, Call of Duty, the guy who camps in a corner trying to farm attack nuke. Yep. These are all appropriate comparisons for English players. Trade in a bit of trouble here. Dimmu with the double down. Oh wow, and Killjadi. What? He peeled off to deal with the Lombos, but Vortex. Great game sense here. He backed off before he got fully intercepted. This is phenomenal, actually. Like, Killjadi's way out of position, so it means that Dimmu can now block trade and take favorable fights up against Voldy. More troops are on the way. Lombos are also showing up soon, so this is going to be even harder for Voldemar. Knights are at least going to try to dive into the main, but Dimmu should be able to stack up a defense fairly fast here with double racks. It's going to cost him something in the meantime, though. Villagers, no wheelbarrow. Wait, is that wheelbarrow? That is definitely wheelbarrow. Why are they so slow? I swear to God, sometimes walking uphill is just so deceptive. Still, Dimmu, a little bit distracted by the fight, right? Because right now, Voldemar's drawing his attention, so Killjadi just kind of farming up a storm in the enemy base. Yeah, I think Dimmu got a little bit too bogged down in this east side fight. Vortex was hanging further back there, so it wasn't even a good trade for them, per se. Lombos also might now be at risk. Nice. We'll be able to clean up the trickling of spearmen. Lombos are being sold out, though, and archers have to stand their ground. 2 spears left over. The knights should be able to win this out. So a bad fight on the east side for Dimmu and Vortex. Still, their economy is just bulging at this stage, right? Like, look at it. You've got the Archon buffing the farms. Down here, you've got double TC for Vortex. I mean, Vortex is just getting out of control, right? If he knew to build more houses, he'd already be bigger. 53 eco. Meanwhile, Killjadi, by comparison, is 37. Remember, Killjadi, although he's playing Roos, he didn't do that typical 2 TC build we saw. Because it doesn't make as much sense in open maps like this, right? It's much better to try and punish your opponent. When you have Feudal Knights, it feels a lot better to send it because there's a lot of exposed areas on Prairie. And yeah, it looks like Killjadi was idled out from the raid? I don't know how long that was for, though. Good eyes. You see how hard it is also to raid against HRE? It's the marching drills, man. It's insane how good this tech is. Made the world of difference getting it for free. 1.38 default movement speed. When you move towards them, when you charge them, you're faster than knights. That's insane. Lombos are on the way. Vortex pulled all forces back from the east side. And wow, good timing as well, because he did force the militia commitment. Killjadi lingering on that backside. Archers are poking in again. You can see that Dimmu's struggling to hold both sides here. King is going to arrive there. That should be enough to push this away. I think the goal really is just Dimmu keeps taking the punches and Vortex eventually techs. The Vortex is going to have some problems in his own base. Nice raid coming from Killjadi. Good retarget here. He's got the knights coming down south as well, so all attention is switching to the other side. Vortex now essentially out of position. His only choice is to gun in towards Voldemar. This is the problem of English with this type of build, right? They just don't have the mobility. I say that, but Killjadi... Wait, what? Killjadi's coming back again. The problem with this focus fire on Dimmu is he's so small already, it kind of becomes a moot detail to keep focusing like this, right? He's down to 32 eco. He has been beaten to death at this stage. And with the amount of spears he's built, it's very difficult for knights to ever get in. I think Killjadi made a blunder there. Like, obviously we have God Vision, we can see this, Killjadi can't. But he should be assuming that with double TC, Vortex is beyond his initial woodline. He should be looking for that. Vortex now able to camp in position here. I love this. Voldemar's like, uh-oh. Hides the traders in the corner. That's fantastic. This, not so much from Killjadi. It's at least idle time, right? But the quick wall? Wait. Dimmu, you're not trapping yourself in here with him? He kind of is, actually, but he gets the connector! No, Killjadi, he doesn't realize! The re-rally just in time there. That would have been the end of the Night Mass there. What a sick idea by Dimmu. Does get some kills, but doesn't wipe the entire force. North side looking a lot better. Killjadi's second wave of Knights arrives here, and it looks like Vortex is going to get wiped out. But behind this, it's finally happening. White Tower now on the way. Damn, this is the brutality of playing against this English build, right? Like, you feel like up to this point, you've kind of done everything perfect, but right. Quite right, right? Like, you feel like you've hit your mark, you feel like you've raided in the correct places, yet there's still always this creeping threat of White Tower. You know it's happening. It's inevitable. But you also know that if you neglect to attack Dumu, the HRE eco is going to become a problem for your trade, right? So it's like, it's kind of interesting the way that Vortex made this work, even though he didn't have the mobility to be everywhere at once, right? And I think a lot of that does go to the credit of Dumu, accepting that although his eco is great and although this Civ seems broken, HRE kind of just had to be the tank in this game. It's definitely come at a high price. Bloody hell, this raid, Dumu, barely going to keep 30 villagers alive at this rate. In fact, I think he's going under. Well, the good news is he can't go under 15. The bad news is he might be heading for that. Knights continue to raid. Voldemar and Killjardy both here. The army came too far south, and Dumu ultimately punished for it. The question mark is, what can Vortex now do? Killjardy in the meantime is teching up. High Trade House coming in. Get your numbers in, folks. And it looks like we are going to be flooding men-at-arms, so Vortex has no interest in playing Cav whatsoever. Damn, I can't believe that. Dumu, what a brutal turn of events. Felt like he needed to come south side to defend the tech up of Vortex. And proving exactly what we talked about, that he is essentially the tank here, right? He's the tank, he's the support. Vortex is the main character. He needs to prove that it's worth it. Vet Longbows in. Killjardy needs a lot of gold at the start of this age. Might not get it. More Dumu. Feudal army is going to march into the base of Voldemar. Voldemar doesn't have much of an army, folks. Oh my god, no. Yeah, look at it. Most of the Knight force comes from Killjardy, right? There's only a handful of Keshiks for Voldy. He's going to easily lose this fight on the north side between him and Dumu. Which, based on ladder performances, actually holds true. I don't know if you guys know this, but I think it was like, we done the check yesterday. We done Voldy dirty. I think he has something like a 15% win rate against Dumu on ladder. It's low. It's brutal. And it's looking brutal for him here. Meanwhile, south side, Knights are at least going to be able to nibble back at this. They are vetted up. No Steel Arrow level 2 coming in from Vortex just yet. Instead, it's going to be focused on the men-at-arms. Armorclad did just complete. Militia did at least reset this temporarily, but I think this is an unfortunate fight that Killjardy has to take, but doesn't want to. Lombo Mass seems just a bit too big here. The Knights also getting baited with the A-clicks into the Spearman. Even worse for him. And Killjardy has just lost it all. Down to single-digit Knights. That might be a good night farewell quickly from here. Dumu now blocking trade. Regnitz coming behind this, despite the fact that Dumu is down to just 31 villagers. He finds the way. Oh, man. You know, it's kind of crazy, despite the timings, despite their attack, despite the damage they've done to Dumu. Voldemar and Killjardy are most definitely on shaky ground right now. Incredible that Dumu is actually still alive in this game, to be honest with you. Vortex is starting to just drag Killjardy's attention southside a bit too much here. The worry as well is if Killjardy gives over here, trade will also be intercepted there, right? So, you know, either end of the map cannot be a forfeit. Love the fact that Vortex stuck Longbows as well. I thought it was going to be a full men-at-arms switch, but Longbows are surprisingly effective against trickling Knights, right? Like, Knights are very hard to sustain this deep into the game. Longbows are quite expensive usually because of the wood being limited on Prairie, but when you have an economy as big as Vortex's at 92, yes, you heard that correctly, Vortex has 3/4 of his team's economy, then you can afford Longbows. You can afford to go wide enough for them. High Trade House, only 107. This is why we see a lot of players typically go for Warrior Monks instead of Abbey of Trinity. It just seems like Killjardy understood he wasn't going to have map control for that. Just really unfortunate. It means he had to go for the sucky landmark here. Dive in deeper. Meanwhile, Dumu around the back, and the massacre of traders continues. Voldemar has now arrived with his troops. Unfortunately, there's many Lombos. I don't know if this is going to be enough. Dive in deeper. More villagers being targeted out. No Undermesh level 2 from Killjardy either. Vortex, meanwhile, has got the double up on the damage, which means 50% of his attack is going through here. Great hold in the choke point. Keshik should be enough to clean this up afterwards, but it's drawn all attention here. And in the meantime, Dumu is hunting through the mid-map. Damn, what a great switch. I love the way these two just keep switching attention towards each other. Paling drops are going to come in, so some damage is going to be done to the calf here. Probably the best final trade you could get before going down. But the next wave is coming in. Just as many Lombos, this time with more spears. Dumu, enough spears that he cannot directly be contested. Poor Killjardy. You can see he's just trying to get the chip damage in, but I think he missed his window, really. Killjardy, the problem here is when he overreacted on that north side, when he should have been diving south, right? Same thing like with Dumu, right? Which kind of balanced it out, is that Dumu definitely got exposed when he shouldn't have, trying to protect Vortex's tech up. So a big slip up around the English from both sides, right? Like there was an unnecessary defense from Dumu, and there was also an unnecessary walk away by Killjardy at a critical point. I think that cost him too much. If you can't dent the English before they're 20 eco plus up, you're doomed to fail like this. More lulls coming in. Should buy the space to start pushing in with these relics. Dumu actually being dove onto. A little bit ambitious, the Keshik's moving in like this. Spears will probably get the best trade they were going to get, given the circumstance. Wall's now going up from Vortex, so setting up for that late game. But relic count is what? Have we got 2 home now? Yeah, we've already got 2 home, third one coming in. So Dumu, despite the abysmal economy, is in actually a reasonable state. Especially when you compare Killjardy at 52, meanwhile Dumu now at 41. And then when we have a look at Voldemar, he has held strong at 79. Credit to him for that, and that's because he shifted a lot of his economy into the safe corner. And what the hell is Vortex's economy? Are you kidding me? Berkshire is now on the way. This guy is so stacked. How stacked is he, KP? He's so stacked. He's still making up 2/3 of his team's economy. He's got double what the HRE have. And he's on his way into Imperial Age, far ahead of everyone else in this game. Voldemar is now miles behind. He's been double-teched by Vortex. What a wild game. Bart should prove he's the top dog here. That's going to make it more annoying for Voldemar and Killjardy to just kind of pivot and help each other, north and south side. Sacred Sites are most definitely weird. That's not the win condition now, though. With this type of eco lead, with this type of tech lead, Dumu and Vortex should simply be looking for the all-in. In fact, you're already seeing that. Vortex marches in. Kurotai is being built up, but Voldemar, no. Wait, how do you get back to the TC? I guess you don't, ever? Oh, no. His army got baited by Dumu on the north side. Vortex now pinching the villagers and also getting in the way of the trade again. Voldemar, he may have got the tech up, but it's going to cost him half of his economy. Army at risk of being sandwiched here. More troops are on the way, and Killjardy is not coming to assist. He can't. He's got nothing to contribute here. Only 9 military in total. Lombos are going to get jumped. Dumu, a little bit greedy, goes after all the trade instead. So many traders down. I mean, it's the same effect as killing the villagers really at this stage, right? New wave is on the way in. Killjardy, I can't believe this, man. Back up against the wall like this, he tries to go for a second TC. I don't think this is too greedy, by the way. I think they are that far behind that he needs this. Because doing the same thing over and over again with Imp also on the side of your opponents is just going to lead to a gradual death. So he needs an inflation. But the problem is this is Voldemar being sold out as well, right? Like, because Killjardy's investing in a TC, that's less knights coming to his defense. I think the only thing really missing for Vortex is some forward infrastructure, right? Like, a handful of rats is here ends the game. I find a lot of players forget about this in team games, but it's weird for me because Vortex is already in the mid-map with, what, 20 villages? Yeah, 24. So just take 4 of them, build 6 Raxes, and you're good to go. The game will just end. Then again, I think the game's going to end either way. 100 military to 48. Not for long, though. Upgrade's just too good, right? The marching drills allows you to keep gap closing here. The Lombos are eleated and yeeted. And they're ready to yeet Voldemar out of this game. Damn. What a combo. Dumu, the ultimate rug to allow Vortex to come in with the ultimate greed. Not really something you'd expect to see. We mentioned at the start of this game, Dumu will usually lean into more, I say, that kind of greedy mid-game style approach. Vortex is the all-out aggressor. But what a switch up to catch their opponents off guard and get a win on Prairie.